This is Minerva, Ohio, a small farming town tucked into the rolling hills of Carroll County, where the corn grows high and the winters bite hard. Folks here still talk in the slow, measured way of people who have never needed to hurry. In the spring of 1868, in a little clapboard house on the edge of town, a boy was born to William and Mary Rogan, former slaves who had walked north to freedom. They named him John William, but everyone would come to call him Bud. He weighed a normal 9 pounds, cried like any other baby, and for 4 peaceful years no one suspected a thing. Then he simply kept growing. By the time he was 13, Bud Rogan stood 8 feet tall, and by the time he stopped, because the body finally said enough, he measured 8 feet 9 inches, the second tallest man medical science has ever confirmed, surpassed only by that gentle giant from Alton, Illinois. But unlike Robert Wadlow, Bud never traveled with a shoe company. He never stood on stages or signed autographs. He stayed right here in Minerva, sitting most days on the wide front porch his father reinforced with extra beams, watching the world go by in wagons and later Model Ts. People remember him clear as yesterday, said old Mrs. Lenora Hayes in 1974, rocking on that same porch long after Bud was gone. He'd tip his hat to every lady, call every child captain, and if you brought him a slice of rhubarb pie, he'd grin so wide you forgot he couldn't stand up straight anymore. His legs just quit on him when he hit 8 feet. After that, he sat, but he never sulked. The county fair used to beg him to come be exhibited, but Bud always laughed that soft, deep laugh and said, "I ain't a pumpkin, and I ain't for judgin'." So the fair came to him instead. Farmers would park their wagons out front, lift their young ones up so they could shake the biggest hand they'd ever see. Bud kept a jar of stick candy on the porch rail and made sure every child got a piece. He couldn't work the fields anymore, but he could whittle. Lord, could that man whittle! Walking sticks, tiny birds, whole nativity scenes no bigger than your thumb, he sent them all over the county. Still turn up in antique stores from here to Canton, always with the same small JWR carved on the bottom. Bud died in 1905 at 37, worn out like a candle that burned too bright. The whole town shut down for the funeral. They had to build the coffin themselves, 8.5 feet of poplar plain smooth as glass, and 6 strong men still strained to lower it into the red Ohio clay. They buried him in the colored cemetery out on Bayard Road, under a plain stone that just reads, John Wadlow, 1868 to 1905. At rest. But if you sit there quiet on a summer evening, folks swear you can still see the longest shadow in Minerva leaning easy against the sky, tipping his hat to anyone passing by.